Being alone in an airplane for even so short a time as a night and a day, with nothing to observe but your instruments in your own hands in semi-darkness, nothing to contemplate but the size of your small courage. Such an experience can be as startling as the first awareness of a stranger walking by your side at night. You are the stranger. It is dark already, and I am over the south of Ireland. There are the lights of Cork, and the lights are wet. They are drenched in Irish rain, and I am above them and dry. I feel the security of solitude, the exhilaration of escape. So long as I can see the lights and imagine the people walking under them, I feel selfishly triumphant, as if I have eluded care and left even the small sorrow of rain in other hands. It is a little over an hour now since I left Abingdon. England, Wales, and the Irish Sea are behind me like so much time used up. On a long flight, distance and time are the same. There had been a moment when time stopped, and distance too. It was the moment I lifted the blue and silver gull from the aerodrome, the moment the photographers aimed their cameras, the moment I felt the craft refuse its burden and strain toward the earth in sullen rebellion, only to listen at last to the persuasion of stick and elevators, the dogmatic argument of blueprints that said she had to fly because the figures proved it. So she had flown. And once airborne, she had said, "There, I have lifted the weight. Now, where are we bound?" And the question had frightened me. We are bound for a place 3,600 miles from here, 2,000 miles of it unbroken ocean. Most of the way, it will be night. We are flying west with the night. The fear is gone now, not overcome nor reasoned away. It is gone because something else had taken its place. The confidence and the trust, the inherent belief in the security of land underfoot, now this faith is transferred to my plane because the land has vanished and there is no other tangible thing to fix faith upon. Rain continues to fall, and outside the cabin it is totally dark. My altimeter says that the Atlantic is 2,000 feet below me. My Sperry artificial horizon says I'm flying level. I judge my drift at 3 degrees more than my weather chart suggests and fly accordingly. I am flying blind. A beam to follow would help. So would a radio. Then so would clear weather. The voice of the man at the Air Ministry had not promised storm. I feel the wind rising and the rain falls hard. At 10 o'clock p.m., I am flying along the Great Circle course for Harbor Grace, Newfoundland, into a 40-mile headwind at a speed of 130 miles per hour. Because of the weather, I cannot be sure of how many more hours I have to fly, but I think it must be between 16 and 18. At 10:30, I'm still flying on the large cabin tank of petrol, hoping to use it up and put an end to the liquid swirl that has rocked the plane since my takeoff. Now, the tank has no gauge, but written on its side is the assurance, this tank is good for 4 hours. Now, there is nothing ambiguous about such a guarantee. But at 25 minutes to 11, my motor coughs and dies, and the gull is powerless above the sea. I can't feel any fear. I can't feel anything. I can only observe with a kind of stupid disinterest that my hands are violently active and know that while they move, I am being hypnotized by the needle of my altimeter. I suppose that the denial of natural impulse is what is meant by keeping calm. But impulse has reason in it. If it is night and you're sitting in an airplane with a stalled motor and there are 2,000 feet between you and the sea, nothing can be more reasonable than the impulse to pull back your stick in the hope of adding to that 2,000, if only by a little. The thought, the knowledge, the law that tells you that your hope lies not in this, but in a contrary act, the act of directing your impotent craft toward the water, seems a terrifying abandonment not only of reason, but of sanity. Your mind and your heart reject it. It is your hands, your stranger's hands, that follow with unfeeling precision the letter of the law. I sit there and watch my hands push forward on the stick and feel the gull respond and begin its dive to the sea. Of course, it is a simple thing. Surely my cabin tank has run dry too soon. I need only to turn another petcock. But it is dark in the cabin. It is easy to see the luminous dial of the altimeter and to note that my height is now 1,100 feet, but it is not easy to see a petcock that is somewhere near the floor of the plane. So a hand gropes and reappears with an electric torch, and fingers moving with agonizing composure find the petcock and turn it. And I wait. At 300 feet, the motor is still dead. And I am conscious that the needle of my altimeter seems to whirl like the spoke of a spindle, winding up the remaining distance between the plane and the water. There is some lightning, but the quick flash only serves to emphasize the darkness. How high can waves reach? 20 feet, perhaps? 30? It is impossible to avoid the thought that this is the end of my flight. But my reactions are not orthodox. The various incidents of my entire life do not run through my mind like a motion picture film gone mad. I only feel that this has all happened before, and it has. It has all happened 100 times in my mind, in my sleep, so that now I am not really caught in terror. I recognize a familiar story with its climax dulled by too much telling. I do not know how close to the waves I am when the motor explodes back into life again. I see my hand easing back on the stick, and I feel the gull climb up into the storm, and I see the altimeter whirl like a spindle again, paying out the distance between myself and the sea. The storm is strong. It is comforting. It is like a friend shaking me and saying, "Wake up! You were only dreaming." Oh, I ought to thank God. And I do, though indirectly. I thank Geoffrey de Havilland, who designed the indomitable gypsy, and who, after all, must have been designed by God in the first place.